Very Dark Man is offering 10 million naira to anyone who can provide evidence that Jude Okoye actually took the name Cynthia Morgan. Let's dive into it and maybe I might get a 10 million. So, Cynthia Morgan versus Jude Okoye. What actually happened? If you grew up listening to Nigerian music around 2014, 2015, 2016, you probably remember the name Cynthia Morgan. But before we dive deeper, her real name is Cynthia Ikpomwenusa Morgan. And she wasn't an upcoming artist that was struggling for attention. In fact, Cynthia Morgan had bangers like German Jews, I'm Taking, Lead Me On, among others, and she was one of the most recognizable female artists in Nigeria as at that time. And then almost suddenly, Cynthia Morgan disappeared from the limelight. When she eventually returned, she was no longer known as Cynthia Morgan, but Madrina. And for years, one particular story followed that name change, and that was Jude Okoye took Cynthia Morgan's name from me, in quote. And, you know, when you actually go back through the timeline and you check our old interviews, the contract that was later released, and the court case Cynthia herself eventually filed, the story becomes a little bit complicated. But let's start from the beginning, how we can understand things better. In 2013, Cynthia Morgan entered into a recording agreement with Northside Entertainment that was run by Jude Okoye. And we have come to learn that this was a 360 deal, which means all income tied to the artist might be subject to the sharing formula of 50-50 according to the contract. So it means that if she went for a show or she had a brand deal, they would share the money. That's what 360 deal means. And the copy of the contract eventually was released publicly in 2020, and we can see that it was dated October 12, 2013, and it reportedly provided for an initial 4-year term with an option of an additional 2 years. And Northside was putting money behind Cynthia into stuff like music production, videos, promotion, basically anything that would turn Cynthia Morgan from a talented artist into a commercially successful brand. And of course it worked, because for the next few years, Cynthia became arguably one of the biggest female dance hall artists in Nigeria. But behind the scenes, the relationship was not going as smooth. In 2016, a long-time manager, Joy Tongo, says that she stopped managing Cynthia in June 2016 after disagreement happened between them. And then in 2017, which is kind of like the most important part of all of this research, Cynthia herself said in an interview that the Northside contract had ended in 2017, had expired in 2017, according to her Northside. And according to her, Northside wanted to renew the contract, but she refused. And if you look at details of the contract, so signed in 2013, expired in 2017. Remember, I said it was for initial 4 years and extended period of 2 years. So it does make sense that 4 years ends in 2017. She said she refused and that they offered her another deal, but she did not like it. May 2018, Cynthia Morgan returns to music, but like as I said, as Madrina. And she created her own company called TCMC, the Cynthia Morgan Company, and she released The $1 Billion Woman. 1 month later in 2018, somebody asked that, why did you change the name? And Cynthia Morgan said that that's still a real and nigger name. She explained that Madrina represented a more mature version of herself. And when we move forward to May 2020, Cynthia gives an Instagram live interview where she says that the fallout with Jude affected her name, her royalties, social media account, and VEVO account. And more specifically, she alleged that Jude took over the VEVO account and made her stop using Cynthia Morgan because of money Northside claimed it had not recovered in investing in her career.
If you go live, will not be able to do that.
No, sure, I'm gonna fucking go live. You should give me my money. You went on the internet, told everybody that I owe you money, and I do not owe you money. I don't owe you money.
Wait. Please close it. Please.
No, you should fucking give me my money. You should give me my money.
And of course, the Nigerian social media exploded. People basically concluded that Jude Okoye stole Cynthia Morgan's name and destroyed her career. But then Jude responded. He denied taking her name, and his argument was simple, that Cynthia Morgan is her own name. How could he have taken it from her? We understand it's a name, but there's also a stage name, right? So he also denied taking her Instagram and Twitter account, but Jude admitted taking control of her VEVO account. And if you go back to that time, Instagram wasn't really a main thing. TikTok was not maybe non-existent at that time. I think TikTok came in 2018. So our main source of revenue of streams was our VEVO account, right, which was tied to YouTube, right? So it does make sense that that's the main source of revenue, and if you are holding on to it, you're basically holding on to the name. And remember, the contract had expired, so you could not tie it to other things. But that particular account, it's in a name. She cannot open another one in the same name. They won't allow her to do that. So his explanation was that Northside was trying to recover more than 40 million it claimed to have invested in Cynthia's career. And Jude actually decided to address the issue in an Insta live interview with Tongo, which lasted for kind of roughly an hour. And I think they had about 22,000 views in that live. Davido was there, Corey Double was there, Twin Abraham, Special Spesh, Peter Okoye, and many other people like known names were on that live.
I don't get it. Cynthia Morgan, your contract has not expired. You left. I have my chat with you. You told me over 1 year to your contract level, you're not renewing, you are done and everything. I let you go. Even before I let you go, you already started answering Madrina and Madrina. You want to change your name to Madrina. I told you,
oh wow.
Your name.
Oh, before she left?
Before she left. 2 years and a half with me, she wanted to change her name to Madrina. I was like, I built on a brand, Cynthia Morgan. The name is already a household name. Why do you want to change it now? Say it's a Jamaican name, meaning a godmother or something like that. That's what she is in the music world, and she's the godmother of entertainment. I was like, you can use that as a nickname, like OBO. Davido is his name.
Yeah.
She said no, she wants to change all her handle and everything. I didn't understand everything. I was trying. She was not even rational anymore until an insider told me that she's doing all this things for so to make her let her go. I was like, that should have not been a problem now. She can go if she wants to go. 2 years after she left me, she was using her Instagram, her Twitter. Am I the owner of Instagram to seize her Instagram account? Seize her Twitter account? Are you fucking kidding me? What are people even believing anymore? The one on VEVO, yes, that's my property. I did 13 videos or 12 videos for her. If one video is costing an average of 3 million naira, check out what that thing is. So if I've not made my 40 million naira from her and she wants to leave, how the am I supposed to get my money back?
Peter Okoye addressed many issues in that live video, including Cynthia Morgan and also the splits of Peter and Paul. And some of the lessons that I kind of removed from that interview after watching them is that his contract with Cynthia Morgan expired in 2017. The music executive, which is Jude here, said he never wrote a contract. That she and her former manager and Joy prepared the contract, and he only gave them letterhead and signed. And he promised to send that document to Tunde at that time, and that he has nothing to do with a change of name or social media platform. That he said that it was Cynthia Morgan who decided to change the name by herself, and he claimed that he had invested 40 million and didn't make it all back because she left the record label before the contract expired, which again doesn't make sense because, like I said, it was an initial 4-year contract with 2 years extendable, but officially it could expire in 2017 because that's the initial term, right? Any other layer to it would have to be agreed, right? So fast forward May 26, 2020, Jude released Cynthia's contract, and when we actually take a look at the contract and look at the details, it says that Cynthia granted Northside an exclusive license to use the name Cynthia Morgan and her image in promoting and distributing the recordings. And in November 2020, Cynthia actually took this case to the Federal Court in Lagos. Cynthia wanted Northside to provide complete accounts showing the money generated from her intellectual properties, royalties, income, expenses, fees, and how much Northside had actually recovered from its investment. And her position was very simple. If you say you spent money developing me and you have not recovered it, show us the account of what you spent and what you have recovered. And she asked the court to order payment of whatever money was found to be outstanding to her if they had recovered all the money. And the questions again were very simple in the lawsuit. How much did Northside invest? How much did Cynthia Morgan's music eventually generate? What was recouped? What royalties came in? Who controlled those royalties? And after Northside recovered whatever it was contractually entitled to recover, was Cynthia still owed money? So, because Jude himself did not deny it, as we watched in the video, we told him not that he has control of the VEVO account, and So the biggest lesson here is not about whether Cynthia Morgan became Madrina or if there's any letter-headed paper or physical or vocal expression that Jude took Cynthia Morgan's name. If you control the main source of revenue for a brand, you've taken the name outright. That's what it means. Because can she continue to go and create music? She can't put it on stream, which is where most money is coming from, right? And she didn't really have so much endorsement. I think she had some with Coca-Cola at that time and one other brand like that. I can't remember. But the main source of revenue is being controlled by Jude. So taking the name in itself is not actually saying, hey, don't go and use Cynthia Morgan. But what is the point that she's creating music in Cynthia Morgan's name when she doesn't have access to a bulk of the revenue, right? So, and this raises bigger question within the music industry, that when an artist leaves a record label, who owns the music, who owns the digital asset, who controls the account, and what money has been recouped, and has everybody actually seen the books? A record label transparent by doing and publishing proper book of accounts? So because till today, there is no known fact that Jude has presented a statement of account or financial records that shows and provide evidence for how much he spent and how much he has recouped. So now it's a function of, I spent 40 million, I've not seen it back, but there is no evidence. Where did you spend the 40 million? Because according to Cynthia Morgan, he spent less than 10 million, right? And how much has he recouped? Nobody knows. So the question is that truly Jude is controlling the major source of income from the Cynthia Morgan brand, which is in connection taking the name of her, because there's no point that she keeps creating music on something that she doesn't make the money from. So the question to Jude is, where is the book of accounts that showed how much you spent? And where is that book of account that showed how much money you've recouped? Because until that is answered, we cannot exonerate you from taking a name. Share this video. Have a wonderful day and definitely stay safe. Thank you.